Welcome back to another Tiger Style podcast brought to you by Shelter Insurance, ranked number 1 in customer satisfaction for auto insurance in the Central Region by J.D. Power. 5 out of the last 6 years. We're your shield, we're your shelter. And also by Socket Fiber, now available the fastest, most reliable internet, combined with local service and simple billing. Contact Socket today for voice, data, and internet services for your home and business. 1-800-SOCKET3 or visit socket.net. Bo Bayman, Coach Smith, welcome. We're back at it.
Back at it, ready to go.
After a quick trip to the West Coast.
I don't know if it was quick.
It was not quick.
They closed the Kansas City airport at one point, and my guys were ready to run to the barbecue restaurant that's in there. And I'm like, no, sit back down. Don't start drinking, drinking the fluids, waters and stuff. And I said, let's wait. And an hour later, they reopened it, plowed the runways, and we got out of there. But it was a 13-hour trip each way.
Jeez.
So it was a long trip. But
kind of worth it.
It was. I mean, it's a good team. They're a really good team and had a lot of ranked guys, and it gave us an opportunity to knock off a lot of ranked guys and move up in the standings, so it's good.
Number 18, and it was a shutout. I mean, that's, what a showing.
Good, but the coaching perspective is we that's not our best team. That's we definitely could have wrestled better. There was a lot of 3 or 4 third periods that we didn't wrestle our best. Had opportunities to score more bonus points and didn't. And we talked about it after the match. That be happy with the result, but don't be happy with the way we wrestled. We can do better. And the neat thing about this team is that as each guy walked off the mat, from Noah Certain to I think of Brock Mahler, and we talked after the matches, and every one of them was like, man, I could be doing this, and they're breaking the match down on how they can be better, and that's what makes this team really good. Yeah. That they see that the importance of growth in these matches, that don't just be, oh, I got the win and I'm happy, let's go celebrate. No, they're breaking it down right away on the mistakes they made and what they can do better. So that's fun to coach.
You're on to the next one, and I get that. Is this one that at the end of the year you'll look back on and go, okay, whoa, that was, 39-0 over a ranked team. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. That's pretty historic, no matter who you are.
It's what you work for. I mean, shutouts are hard to get in dual meets, and we scored a lot of bonus points too, but you're hoping now when we go to West Virginia, who's another top 20 team, that let's see what kind of performance we can put together there and show growth. From what we talked about at Stanford, are we going to get better? And that's what great teams do. They continue to grow and get better, and that's what I'm hoping. We're having a tough week of training this week and putting them through some hell, but it's a good thing to prepare them for what we got coming up.
Sort of what you and I talked about before was you bounced back off of Virginia Tech, where I know despite the win you weren't happy. So it's kind of a statement after that to say, all right, everybody get back to wrestling the way you know how. And they did that. Even though there is room for improvement, it was kind of the get right time, wasn't it?
Yes. But that's what makes this team. They want to get better after every event. My wife would tell you I'm never happy after wins and never happy after losses. But it's just when you're coaching, it's different. You're always looking at the small things that down the road could haunt you, and those little things add up. And so we got to correct them. But the team enjoys that part of it. That there are some teams that I've had or individuals that, hey, I just want to get wins. But that's not what it's about, because that's going to cost you at the national tournament or the Big 12s. And this team knows that it's more than just the wins. It's how we're winning. We want to be better. So when we meet up with the Iowas and the Penn States and the elite teams like Cornell and Okie State that are coming up, we'll be ready.
What would you say, like you had mentioned, we kind of flipped the script where we were winning the tight matches this time, with Noah
right out of the gate.
But that really wasn't even a tight match. It was an 8-1 decision. But maybe it was just
It seemed tighter.
Yeah, it did seem
That
tighter.
shot he hit at the end would have, I think, tied it or
Yeah.
given him the lead, and then instead we put him to his back and score 7.
Yeah.
So that was a big swing in the
Even
match. But
Geoffrey too. I mean,
Geoffrey.
that was not even really a close match.
Geoffrey wrestled well.
Yeah.
There's somebody that from the first minute to the last, he was getting after it, and he always does. Well, he's had 9 matches this year, and I think 6 of them are top 10 wrestlers. That I don't think we've had a kid have a schedule as tough as him. And then we looked at it. West Virginia's ranked way up there, and I mean every guy he has to wrestle, he has 5 or 6 guys that are top 15 still left on his schedule.
And he kind of, would you say, speaks to the culture of the team? Like he's just right back at it. He's always in there working. You know, he's humble. He takes that win and he's off the mat and he's like, I got to do better anyways.
The other day I went up to Logan and I said, man, we're in the middle of January. Some people look at it as the grind. He went, heck no, coach. I love this. I love being here. I want to get better. And that's why he is, you know, at 4-4 going into the Stanford duel. He didn't view it as I'm 4-4. He's like, here I go. I'm going to be 1-0 after this one, beating an All-American. And he did. Goes off and knocks off the number 9 ranked guy that's an All-American, returning All-American from the past, and knocks him off in Cali, which was special.
Yeah.
Parents
Especially
got to
for
be
him.
there and see him, and that was really neat.
It was really neat to see his mom and dad there, and I think his grandmother was there, and that's, you know, not too often they can get to see him wrestle live, and that was special to get the win in Cali.
Let's go back to Certain. He really, to me, he's always the igniter. When he beats a guy like he did beat Provo's ranked number 4,
Yep.
it gets the whole team going, doesn't it?
It does. He
Yeah.
definitely goes out there. He's our spark plug, without a doubt, and he brings energy to matches and has, you know, when you hear him talking in the locker room or the warm-up, he never shuts up. And so it's always, all right, Noah, all right, enough, Noah. But we know when Noah's like that he's going to go out and he's going to get after it and he's going to give you everything, and he does. And that's why we love starting at 25. I probably shouldn't be saying this on the podcast because now coaches will want to draw and not start at 25. But heck, if that's what they want to do, go ahead, try it. But,
Definitely got Cade going with
it
the
did.
tech
Yeah.
fall. And
Cade is wrestling really consistent right now. I think he knows areas, conditioning, just getting in that complete match shape. You know, he still keeps scoring a lot of points. He's putting a lot of points on the board, turning people in matches every match now. He's a beast on top, has ways through underhooks, through picks. I mean, his offense on his feet is fun to watch. He has lots of ways to score. He hit a little duck under to a cradle that we thought he was going to pin the guy. He didn't, but he got 7 out of it, and it was impressive.
Let's talk about Seltzer bumping up to 141 and winning.
Yeah, I mean, he's there for good now. He's a big kid, and 33 was a struggle for him, so we bumped him up, and he did well at the Soldier Salute, and now here he is, and, you know, goes out and has a kid that was in the Scuffle Finals, and goes out and beats him pretty solid. I would have liked to seen a better third period. He got ridden most of, I think, the whole period. That he's got to grow up there, or maybe we were on our feet and took him, almost scored the takedown. It was off of our shot. We eventually get taken down off of our shot and then got ridden the last minute or so. He's got to just get better there, but he knows that and he's working on it. But it was good to see, you know, Cade, him, and then Clayton Whiting, 3 freshmen in the lineup like that are just doing great things, scoring bonus points, some of them. And it's just good for the program that we can have the older guys with the maturity and the young guys coming in and showing we're recruiting the right kids.
It's sometimes a mindset when a kid wrestles at 141, he's a little more comfortable. Because like you said, he's a big kid. 133's tough to get to, so 141 maybe he's a little more relaxed.
Definitely feels better and smiles more. He wasn't miserable at 33, so it was time. You know, he just couldn't do it anymore. So as a coach and as an athlete, you got to make that decision. And, you know, his life is important too, and his studies. And so now he's up at 41, and he'll battle for that spot.
We talked about Joffrey. Let's go to 157. This was a quote-unquote upset for Brock Mahler getting the win again. But, I mean...
no match for Brock in my eyes
agree.
is an upset. He's one of the best 2 or 3 guys in the country. His ranking may not show it because he has the 1 loss, but he can beat anybody in the country, and he's a really difficult style to wrestle. And Cardenas is very offensive, and we're great with reattacks, and we reattacked like there was no tomorrow. I think 4 takedowns, and
It was probably 5 or 6 shots, and they just kept shooting, and
we scored.
He was ready.
It's tough to score on.
And so, but he won by 6 or 7 points. We talked about it afterwards. We got to get that extra point or two and score that one more takedown, go after it more in that last minute and get the bonus points. So, and he agrees. He knows that, and that's his mindset.
I'm sure he was ready to get back out there after the Virginia Tech loss.
He doesn't show a lot of emotion, and I know he was disappointed in the loss, but he's very consistent in the way he trains, the way he warms up. It does everything in his life that it didn't shock me. He went out there and dominated a match. He's a mature kid that's been there. He didn't panic on the loss, just shows up for practice, gets back to work. And I know after he was frustrated with himself after the win, that he knows he can score more points, and he didn't. And the first thing he was asking, and we joked about it, I want to do some individual practices. And I'm like, it's on the schedule for Friday if you read the schedule, Brock. So we were joking because I didn't read it yet. But, yeah, it's already on there.
To put some numbers to what you're talking about, these close matches, we had a Tech fall, 4 majors, and then 3 other matches that were 2 points or less away from a major. I think 2 of those 3 were 1 point away. So really close to getting, what is that? We had 6 bonus, another 3, 9 out of the 10. That would have been
close to bonus. That would have been big.
Wow. So, and then Keegan continuing to look dominant, man.
I mean, what do you say about him? The thing that impresses me most about him this year, Coach, is he's got the target. Everybody wants to beat him. Everybody wants to try to be the guy who beats him. And he's there doing different things, different ways, and he just knows when to catch you. And when he catches you, you're in deep trouble.
He's always preparing. And I think the other day in practice, he was preparing for a move that he saw an opponent maybe a month up the road did against another opponent, and he was preparing for that technique. Yeah. And it's a constant with him on what he's working on in the room and getting better. And so he just goes out and competes at such a high level and such a high pace that he's hard to stop. And it did. When you watch the first couple minutes, it was a battle. This kid's a ranked kid, and I think he got poked pretty good, and was that the match?
Yeah,
Poked pretty good in the eye. Doesn't let it phase him and just keeps it going and attacking. And eventually the takedowns come, and then all of a sudden he gets the cradle locked up and it's over.
I think that this is one thing I just want to say, and I know we have wrestling fans that watch and listen to us, but this is like Ben Askren and Jaden. You don't want to take for granted this kid while he's here.
No.
Because he's going to be one we look back on and go, he's on the Mount Rushmore. But while he's here, you need to come see him. I mean, that's the kind of guy he is.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's on the Mount Rushmore in the future of all athletics.
No
here.
question.
I mean, he's it. That if you haven't seen him wrestle, you will hear people, and I always love the crowd when he wrestles because it's like, wow, you hear this like gasp because he hits something, and it's just so pretty, and it's like effortless. That I think it's like when you're watching this artist and he's doing this stuff, and by the end of it, you see the picture painted. That's him. He's just painting this picture out there, and he's in his own world, and people just watch it, and all of a sudden there's this masterpiece that he's put together. That's him on the mat.
Yeah, you just don't want people to go, oh, Keegan won again.
Absolutely.
I mean, you just
Hey, I say that.
Savor it.
Dominates again, and it's like, it was amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
And in the amount of time we had at the airport after the duel, Coach Maple and Keegan were sitting there, and I had time to go get food, stop and talk, come back. They were still watching the film, and I sat down next to him, and I just heard the word, let's experiment with this. And that's just the way he is and what they do in the room. And so that I felt like that was very fitting. And he is somebody that's going to continue to move the sport forward. He just does things the right way, too, and handles himself with class. Can't say enough.
He's got
right.
2 top 5 or 6 ranked guys this next weekend with West Virginia and Cornell.
Yeah.
Both guys are way up there in the rankings and all Americans, so it'll be big weekend for him coming up in a week and a half.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see Peyton Mako back at 174.
Yep.
And he comes out and gets a major, which was good as he knocked some rust off.
Yeah, the first period, it was ugly. I mean, he didn't look good, and I was worried that I put him back in there too early. And he's not 100%, but he wants to compete. It's his senior year. He doesn't want to. He was like, I'm done missing competitions. I want to be with the team traveling. And I said, okay, let's go. In the first period, he just didn't look confident, and his attacks didn't look good. But then once it started to flow by the third period, I mean, I think he put up 21 points. So that's a lot of points in a match. And he was mad at me because I didn't put him down. I just wanted him to stay on his feet. I didn't want the opportunity for somebody to rip his ankle, and so till it's fully healed. And so he was mad at me for that, but he just kept scoring and almost got the tech fall. I think 21 points. That's a good amount for your first match back, and it was good to see that every period he got better.
Yeah,
big time. Rocky building. He's gets a major this time, whereas I think that might be one
and Clayton
of his,
too. We
Clayton
talked about
too.
Clayton, but
Yep.
Clayton, our upper weights are just when you hit the 65, 70, even with Brock, I mean every weight, but when you hit those upper weights,
kind
man.
of hard to find a chink in the armor
yeah,
there.
that's right.
But the upper weights have been performing, and the great thing about Rocky is he started slow this year, just coming off a surgery, but now it's just you're starting to see him get back. The practice room is where I'm seeing the difference. That's why he's starting to look better on the mat, because he's building his confidence and pushing himself in the practice room and doing more in the practice room every day. So he's almost about 100% now. That it's exciting to see, because it's right at the right time we need him.
Yeah, right. And because he hasn't wrestled as much, I feel like he's going to be fresher at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't wrestle a lot last year. I just think it's with him, we'll have to hold his matches back every year, even next year when he's a senior, that just to allow him to stay healthy.
Yeah.
Because he's had some injuries, so I think that's important as a coach to know that the most important part of the year is called March, and we got to have them healthy. If you have kids that know how to wrestle, and Rocky is he's a world champ.
Yeah.
That he knows what to do. Getting him in shape is important, and all the practice is important, but having him healthy is even more important. That if he's healthy and feeling good, he's a dangerous guy and can win a national tournament. And we have it now. That now it's just getting him a little bit better shape and a little bit better in some areas, and he's working on it. So it's fun. And Zach's kicking some butt out there.
Yeah, he is.
So he's wrestling with a lot of confidence now. It's the most, I used to wonder when he was younger, we got to get through this and get that confidence all the time, even in tough battles and all that. And he went out there and did a good job. And he was disappointed with himself. They didn't score that takedown at the end to get the major. And that's the difference. In the past, he would have been, all right, I got the win. I won 8-1. I dominated. But he wanted to score that at the end, and he didn't. So he's in there working hard to, get better at that.
39-0. I know Coach keeps talking about building off of it. Wasn't the best performance, but can't skip past it. It was a great showing for the Tigers. And they hit the road again next week. We've got big matchups coming up. After that, we return home for the Oklahoma State, but we want to dive into the West Virginia and Cornell duel here in just a second. But we want to thank Addison. Sophia's and Addison's restaurant are great local spots to visit before or after all Mizzou home games. Addison's has two locations in Southwest and downtown Columbia, and features over 20 beers on tap, including local brewers and, of course, their famous Nachos Bianco. So remember, before or after the game, stop by Addison's.
So, Bo, have you tried all 20 beers?
I probably am close. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie.
I'm not going to answer my own question. So. Just checking.
Yeah,
I've had the Nachos Bianco or whatever, but
yeah, I've had that numerous times.
You think they could have some of that before weigh-ins?
I think they should provide some. If they're going to have the ad, they got to provide some to the podcast crew.
All right. We'll get on it.
Hey, let's talk about the schedule. The schedule's changed just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just because, You actually have an open weekend this weekend.
And it wasn't supposed to. We were
Yeah.
supposed to be taking most of the team to the UNI Open and getting a tournament in, but facility problems or something took place, and they called us this past week and told us. So I know Zach tweeted something out that we're looking for a duel, and we're not. I told him he's banned from Twitter now. I think Jess probably agrees with me there.
She's on it.
That you can't be tweeting out to the world that we need a match, and so. But I did. The funny reply to the tweet was from Cole Baumgartner, former wrestler. He's like, "Bring back the alumni duel. We're ready. We're ready at any time." And
that would be something new for wrestling.
Yeah. Oh.
Alumni duel mid-season.
Mid-season. Yeah. They'd show up, too.
They would.
We'd have Jaden flying in, Ben and Max coming down, and McCormick brothers coming over.
I bet they would pay money to see that duel.
Yes.
So what do you do this weekend then? Just more training?
We'll
or
train.
do you give some time off?
No, we're getting a good week of training, and then we'll pull back Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We'll still have practice on Monday, Tuesday, but we leave on Wednesday for the Friday duel just because of travel, and it's long travel. And then head to West Virginia, fly into Pittsburgh, drive from there. It's a good travel to get there, and then we'll fly from West Virginia to Cornell, and then eventually get home on Monday sometime, 3 or 4 in the morning. So it's a trip.
I was going to say, it's a heck of a weekend against 2 quality opponents, too.
Really good. And West Virginia, Coach Flynn, I think, is in his 4th or 5th year, and he had a great career coaching at Edinburgh. Took him to 3rd in the country. Did some great things there, had national champs, and had an unbelievable teams there. And then he got hired at West Virginia, and they were struggling, but man, this season they're just and I saw it last year, the improvement. You don't always see it in the records, but those kids are buying into what he's teaching and doing and the culture, and they're gosh, we went through the rankings. They got kids ranked at a lot of weights, and it's like we just don't get a break at some of these, every team on our schedule, but they have a great team. And of course Cornell, I coached there for 5 years. I've known Mike Gray real well. I've mentored him through the NWCA leadership, and he's got they've had a great program there forever. And we were wrestling all the time till COVID hit. We would wrestle them down in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, right.
And so he called me and said, "Let's get this going again. Let's keep them home and away again." So we'll go up there this year. And they've had some battles. They lost by a point to Ohio State, and I think they beat Virginia Tech Tech the other day. They have a good team. They have a really, really good team. Guys ranked at every weight, and they have a world champ in Vito, and that it's going to be a challenge for us. That's a big weekend and some of those weight classes. Like Keegan has 2 top 10 guys, and there's a bunch of them that are loaded. That they'll The good thing is we've shown up for every duel.
Yeah.
Even in Virginia Tech, we weren't happy with the score, but we showed up and wrestled hard. That we're prepared for this weekend.
And when guys need to step up, they do.
Yeah.
You talk about showing up. We took a couple hits in maybe that Virginia Tech duel, but other guys stepped up to fill that
Moore
role.
steps up
Exactly.
there, and then Logan Giaffer gets a huge win at Stanford. That we need that. We're going to need it the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And
Some big duels ahead, and like you said, we got a little road trip out east to.
I don't know about little, but
So.
I just know I grew up in upstate New York. That I know we probably won't see the sun, and we will see lots of snow.
Yeah.
Hey, they're back in school.
Yeah.
They're back to school too, so I'm sure the 2-a-days, they're slowing down and they're ready to get after it. But then we're back at home February 4th after the trips to West Virginia and Cornell. February 4th at 1 o'clock against Oklahoma State. Again, we're going to try and break that attendance record. It's going to be a great duel. We're really excited for it. We've got several local companies and groups coming out, bringing COG with over 100 already. So it's going to be a great turnout. A lot of high schools. If you want to get your groups out to the duel, connect with us, connect with our ticket office, get the group rate. We want to get you taken care of and there to cheer on the Tigers.
It's the last duel of the season.
Senior night.
Yeah.
We have 3 great seniors in the program. Got to be out there. I mean, I just look at, if there's one thing I would complain about with Mizzou, and it's our fan base needs to be stronger. We need to get not our wrestling core group, but it's the the softball, it's the basketball, it's the football. I mean, come over and catch us. We've been in the top 10 for 8 straight years, and it's we need to pack the Hearns. It isn't we need to try it. It just needs to happen. I hear Mizzou fans complain a lot about teams when they're not winning, and yet here we are winning, and it's time. I'm challenging you to step up. We need to pack the Hearns Center and have at least 10,000 in there for this duel. It's our biggest rival, Oklahoma State. We've had some knockdown dragouts with them. Last year was 17-16. We lost. One that we are excited about having back again, but we'll focus on that later. But
It'll be another tough one.
It will. They're undefeated and moving up, and they're in the top 10 this week and moving up.
Nothing easy the rest of the way.
No.
Get your tickets. Get there, be there. Coach Smith challenged you. You can't turn that down. So. Bo, anything else to add?
Nope, that's it. Just be there February 4th at 1.
Coach Smith, thanks as always, taking the time to be with us in the booth. Socket Fiber is now available, the fastest, most reliable internet combined with local service and simple billing. Contact Socket today for voice, data, and internet services for your home and business, 1-800-SOCKET3, or visit socket.net. And as always, Tiger Style, stay ready.